Welcome back for the Chapter 7 mini lecture on foreign direct investment. Now, this lecture will not follow the publisher's PowerPoint presentation. Instead, we will be reviewing some real-world examples of foreign direct investment and how different countries attract foreign direct investment. There are several basic theories that apply to FDI, and we will review those briefly. In addition, we will also look at the largest providers of foreign direct investment funds as well as the largest recipients of those investments. And hopefully, at the conclusion of this lecture, you will have a better understanding of how the world economy works and, more importantly, how the different governments interact to meet development goals. Now, some basic terms with which we need to familiarize ourselves before we get into any discussion regarding foreign direct investment includes greenfield investments, flow of direct investment, stock of direct investment, and the inflows and outflows. Now, anytime the company establishes a new operation in a foreign country, it is considered a greenfield investment. Now, there are other ways to invest in a foreign country without creating a greenfield investment. A foreign country can acquire or merge with an existing company in a foreign country. Now, if a U.S. investor provides funds to an existing business in a foreign country, the U.S. investor is providing FDI outflows. The recipient organization in the foreign country is receiving FDI inflows. And as those funds and investments accumulate in the foreign country, they are accounted for in the total cumulative value of foreign-owned assets, or stock, of FDI. Now, over the last several decades, there's been an increasing trend in the amount of foreign direct investment. The amount now totals more than $2 trillion. And the interesting fact is that the increase in foreign direct investment has exceeded the actual increases in global trade. Now, let's think of some reasons why foreign direct investment would be increasing faster than the total amount of global trade. FDI is a way to get around government-initiated protective measures. Now, obviously, the government cannot restrict foreign direct investment to their country if they want their economy to continue to grow. Now, the second reason for this trend is that there are still significant investment opportunities in developing countries. And as all countries pursue a more free trade environment, businesses and investors are ready, willing, and able to invest in countries that are establishing more of a market-based economy. Now, as trade barriers are removed, as deregulation takes root, and as private industries take over previously owned government enterprises, the investment climate has been a favorable one. Now, since foreign direct investment has been slowing since 2002, this trend may be changing. Now, it should be no surprise that most of the foreign direct investment has been directed toward developing countries, and most of the money backing the foreign direct investments have been provided by the Western or developed world. Now, notwithstanding the obvious in the last statement, the United States has also been a recipient of a vast amount of foreign direct investment because of the market-based economy approaches, the favorable political environment, and the openness of the U.S. to foreign direct investment. Now, even though the developed countries, or the developing countries, still receive the majority of foreign direct investment, it is also important to know that the United States is also a large recipient of foreign direct investment. Excuse me. In looking at the FDI report here from 2012, which was generated by FDI Intelligence, you will see that the United States is the top source for foreign direct investment. You will also see that the United States is also the top destination country for foreign direct investment. And when you look at the number of jobs created in South America, the amount of foreign direct investment attracted to Central America, and the number of projects initiated in Asia, it is easy to see that foreign direct investment is an important driver in a stable world economy. Now, you can see in this map that China, India, and Singapore have received more than 57% of the total foreign direct investment available. Now, this map specifically refers to the percentage of growth in the number of projects in that country. You will see that China's projects have increased by 6%, India's projects increased by 21%, and Singapore's projects increased by 7%. Most analysts agree that the decrease in the foreign direct investment in Japan and Thailand was due to the natural disasters that both of those countries experienced. And when we discuss the theories in foreign direct investment, we are not trying to predict the FDI targets, the target amounts. We are only trying to explain why a pattern in FDI exists. Now, the first question is, why would a company choose to make a foreign direct investment if they can export or license their products for foreign production? After all, FDI can be very expensive and can be risky dependent upon the country selected. Now, when a company is evaluating whether or not they want to export their product, they not only need to include the cost of production, but also the cost of transportation in servicing their product in a foreign country. Now, because many of these transactions are at a low value or a low volume, many companies may decide that exporting their goods just is not practical. Now, think about this as an example. If a company manufactures bulldozers and they have an opportunity to sell bulldozers in India, they may only sell 5 or 6 bulldozers per year. They may make $50,000 on the sale, but if anything breaks or if the product does not arrive as scheduled, there's a possibility that it may cost them more than that to make the deal right. They may have to send over an engineer to fix the equipment. They may have to authorize warranty work, and in the worst case scenarios, they may have to bring the piece of equipment back to the United States at their cost and replace it free of charge for their customer in India. It doesn't take long to see the limitations of using a purely export model. And when you think about how much it would cost to ship a bulldozer overseas, it is quite possible that the bulldozer may no longer be competitive in terms of price to the Indian buyer. And when we look at licensing as an option, we have just as many problems. Sometimes in order to make a licensing deal work, a company may have to give away trade secrets. And in most cases, that is not a good idea. If you grant a foreign company the right to manufacture and distribute your product, you have very little control on how that objective is met. Now, a company might find that their product is not being sold or represented properly. Not only can that result in bad customer relationships, but it can also create warranty and legal issues. When we consider the limitations of both exporting and licensing, it makes sense that some companies might prefer to implement a foreign direct investment model. Now, how could we possibly explain why some industries, why some companies that are in the same industries will all pursue foreign direct investment at the same time and in the same countries? I guess the most obvious answer to that question is that companies are competing here domestically, so why wouldn't they seek to control the market abroad as well? Especially in an oligopoly where firms are interdependent and where firms can make decisions that impact their competition, it makes sense that firms that are in an oligopoly market would pursue foreign direct investment together. You see these groupings in foreign countries, most often in the automotive industry. For example, Toyota is not the only Japanese car company here in the United States. You also have Honda and Nissan. And if one player establishes an operation in a foreign market, then the other players in the oligopoly industry will also follow. So this includes the Chapter 7 mini lecture.